This video was produced by The Top Cut. Be sure to check out thetopcut.net, your home for Pokemon TCG, tournament coverage, professional game analysis, and interviews with the best players in the world. Thanks for watching.
Welcome back, everyone. We are back with Sam, Chen, and Dylan Bryan playing in the top 8 of the Pokemon TCG Regional Championships in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I am Crimz, Josue, Rojano, and with me is Kyle, Pooka, Sucevich.
Yeah, game one really ended unexpectedly, with Dylan going first, but not being able to bench a second Pokemon, and Sam got a turn 1 Hurricane with Tornadus, and the game ended. So hopefully we'll get a little better of a game here. Dylan will go first again, but he starts with Smeargle, which is not the preferred starter. He would prefer to start Celebi, but it looks like he's just going to grab a Tornadus with his Dual Ball.
Yeah, the fact that he grabs Tornadus doesn't really tell much. Just means that he wants to have something to be able to attack with and not get turn 1 like he did last time.
Is he declumping? Is that what he was doing there?
I was going to avoid that, please. Let's not get into this. But yeah, I believe he is declumping. So let's see here. He has a Smeargle, which obviously, like you've said, is not the preferred starter, but it's not a bad starter either. Being able to portrait on turn 1 is not a bad idea. And his opponent does have 2 Celebes in play, which are the preferred starter, but he still has no Tornadus.
Yeah, now these opening turns are really crucial in the mirror match, I feel. If you miss your first turn or even second turn attack, you can find yourself pretty far behind. And there we're seeing end, so Dylan's got to be hoping to at least get a turn 2 Hurricane. But even the fact that Sam started with these 2 Celebes is a little threatening. If Dylan doesn't get a turn 1 Hurricane, then maybe Sam can pull it off again and he'll take the advantage. So even if you go first, if you miss your first turn attack, you might actually be behind in this mirror match. So it's kind of fragile in that sense.
Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself. So we are going to be seeing a brand new hand of 6 for Dylan, obviously for Sam as well. Dylan can still pull off the turn 1 attack, like you mentioned, and he still has a portrait available to him. So we'll have to see what kind of stuff he can actually pull off. And he does bring a Celebi down, which is big because that's exactly what he wanted to be able to do. And he portraits his opponent, shows an N, I believe, and nothing else, or a Professor Oak theory as well.
And an N, but he goes with the N.
He saw his opponent's hand, figured it was a little bit too good, and had him shuffle it in.
So yeah, he will get another shot at this. If he draws, well, he needs a switch, a grass, and a Sky Arrow Bridge to get a Hurricane on the first turn, but if Sam showed us anything, it's that anything is possible.
Oh yeah, turnabout's fair play here, and I'm sure that Dylan's trying to figure this one out, or trying to pull it off as well. So we see a bunch of double colorlesses, we see a Mewtwo, a catcher, but I don't see a way for Dylan to be able to attack this turn. So it looks like Sam's safe.
Yeah, he will be safe for the time being. There's nothing more devastating, I believe, in this entire format than staring down a Hurricane on the first turn, especially if you're going second. The only thing I could think of is a turn 1 Zekrom, Patrice Shaman, which doesn't really exist anymore, but just being able to put on that pressure early is extremely devastating, but Sam is able to avoid it here. It looks like he's actually going for Mewtwo.
That's really interesting to me. What's most interesting, though, is the fact that Dylan's Smeargle is in the active spot, so he might actually just have to be without the Smeargle for the rest of the game. Not only did Sam play an energy on the Mewtwo, he also played an N as well, so he obviously has no way to be able to get a Tornadus in play this turn, or at least not yet. Whoa. Do you feel like it's fine for Sam to be able for Sam to just attach the energy with the Force Breath right then and there? Or do you feel like that's a little bit of a risky play?
It is a little bit of a risk, but I think what he's trying to do is give himself an option to get a Tornadus via Shaman Celebration win still. He has the grass, he used Forest Breath, so if he's able to draw like a Shaman, Tornadus, double colorless, and then a Sky Arrow Bridge or a switch, he can still pull off a Hurricane on this first turn. Or even, well, the thing that would require less cards is like a double colorless and then a plus power. So he's just trying to get a knockout on this first turn in any way possible, but looks like that's not the case with this hand.
Yeah. Unfortunately for Sam, he does not have a way to get a knockout here. I don't believe. He's thinking about
Ooh,
playing a Pokemon catcher. He portraits instead and gets a Juniper only. So he's got to discard a big hand here.
that was
And
actually really devastating.
what did he discard?
I saw at least 2 junk arms in there, and then a
Oh, no.
catcher, and, well, I mean, 2 junk arms and a catcher, that's already pretty bad. And then a Pokegear, so a lot of stuff went in the discard there.
Yeah, I know when I'm playing the CMT deck, the one card that I really hate Junipering away is Junk Arm because it's kind of your jack of all trades. It's your catcher when you need it. It's your dual ball when you really need that. It's everything really. So getting rid of Junk Arms is a big deal, and getting rid of two is obviously twice as big. So his
Yeah,
opponent dual balls and gets two heads here, which is big because he can start getting a couple of more, or probably a Tornadus, and I'd assume he'd probably get a Mewtwo here to be able to keep up with the Mewtwo trades.
yeah, a lot of it all depends on what he has in his hand. We did get to take a look at it. He has a Juniper, so there's a lot of stuff he could be doing this turn. And I think the advantage swings back to Dylan, since Sam also whiffed his first turn attack.
Correct.
And Dylan, he's putting down his 2 Mewtwo's. He's saying, I'm ready for war. Let's get into it.
Gotta love this format, man. This is an all too common sight recently.
So this is what the mirror match can degenerate into once Mewtwo hits the field. Looks like Dylan is accepting this, and he's not being shy about it. He's putting both Mewtwo's down and moving his energy to it, and he is all in.
Oh wow, he's gonna be capturing up his opponent's Mewtwo, or at least I would hope so. Gets no heads here, and oh okay, he doesn't actually have the catcher yet. He's
So this
hoping
is
to hit
a
the catcher.
huge risk. If he doesn't draw a switch or something,
He's
uh,
excited. He hit it.
oh,
He was really excited here. He actually obviously fumbled on his way to be able to do it, but he got it, and that's a big, huge deal. He now takes the prize lead and knocks out one of his opponent's Mewtwo's and puts a lot of pressure on his opponent.
yeah, I can't stress how really risky that was. I mean, he did have a portrait left, so maybe not as risky as I think, but if he doesn't draw a way to retreat his Smeargle and also a catcher, he needs both of those to really make this worthwhile. Then this turn is a complete bust. He'll have a Mewtwo with 4 energy on it, which obviously is just going to get knocked out by Sam's Mewtwo. But now this risk paid off big time, and he's going to take the first 2 prizes.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt about that, and you can see that. At least I could see it in Sam's face that he was not happy with that turn. He saw that his opponent definitely gambled here. Had a lot of energy on that Mewtwo. Played that celebration when Shaman. A lot of his resources went into this turn, and he hit the card he needed. And now Sam is in quite a bit of trouble. He plays his own Mewtwo, which only needs 2 energy to be able to knock out his opponent's Mewtwo. But his opponent already has a Mewtwo in the bench to be able to keep up with the war. So this is just degenerating really fast. And Sam's in the back foot here. I would have to say that Dylan is in great shape to win this game based on that turn alone.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Now, the other factor for Sam is that he had to discard so many resources the previous turn, whereas Dylan is still pretty healthy in terms of what he has left in his deck. So really the board advantage, the resource advantage, it's all pointing towards Dylan being in control of this game. But if Sam has any consolation, it's that 2 double colorless energy will go down with this first Mewtwo, and maybe Dylan won't be able to keep up in the later stages of the game if he does not have those DCE to be able to X-Ball and respond to Sam's Mewtwo's. That's really Sam's only bright hope here.
So we see his opponent, or we see Sam actually pay the energy to retreat the Tornadus. Does not have a Sky Arrow or a Switch, and he attached the double colorless to his Mewtwo. So he's able to pull off this prize, or this knockout, and take a couple of prizes. But again, his opponent just has so many resources available right now. He's able to use the Forest Breath onto his Mewtwo, and now as long as he can attach a double colorless, or even just an energy and a plus power, he's going to be able to pull this knockout off. He does play a Mewtwo of his own as well, so he understands that the game did indeed degenerate into this. Sam shows that he's got a Mewtwo and a way to be able to knock his opponent's other Mewtwo out. This is big. This is really big. The fact that they both play 3 Mewtwo's is obviously very nice for both of them, and it maintains the lead for Dylan here.
This really might be like a 4-turn game here, man. There's a Juniper, and this is another huge risk for Dylan. Wow. He needs a grass and a plus power or a double colorless to get this knockout. Otherwise, he's going to be in huge trouble. So Dylan taking extreme risks here. Did they
There's a
pay off
dual ball.
again?
He played a dual ball, which is usually a sign that he does not have access to the cards yet, because otherwise he excitedly play them. But he did miss the dual ball, even though I don't think that was as big of a deal. Um, Plays a
Well,
switch for the Smeargle. The Smeargle's going to be trying to portrait his way into a good hand here. Um,
but Sam does not have a good hand.
does Sam have any supporters at all?
Nope, doesn't look like it.
Oh, geez. Oh, did Dylan's Brisk really not pay off here? That would be huge for Dylan, or actually for Sam, and he'd be able to take another prize here against his opponent's Mewtwo.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a catcher in his hand. He has a double colorless as
Wow.
well. So he's really got everything besides a supporter that he would want in order to. And hey, there's a supporter to go with it. So looks like this
Wow.
just swung right back around into Sam's favor.
This is incredible. That's an incredible turn of events here. Plays a Pokemon catcher, I'm going to assume on a Mewtwo, and he does. Now all he needs is, I believe, one more energy and a plus power, or a double colorless.
Hmm.
Attaches the double colorless, so he has a way to knock out his opponent's Mewtwo. And he's going to go down to 2 prizes here. Sam's going to be in great shape to advance to the top 4. Plays
Yeah,
a
I
Sky
mean,
Arrow and his own Mewtwo. That's big.
this just shows how quickly things can turn around. You miss one turn in the Mewtwo War, and you were just way behind. Now, this game is not over by any means. If Dylan gets his Mewtwo next turn, and maybe an N to disrupt Sam, then he'll still be okay. Sam's going to need to draw 2 more energy, or maybe even 3 more energy to get a knockout on this next Mewtwo, so it's going to be tough for both players to win, but looks like Sam is in the lead at this point.
You're absolutely correct here. Um, yeah, I don't really know what else Sam really needs here. He obviously doesn't need much. He's got a way to knock out this Mewtwo. He's going to go down to 2 prizes. Now it's all on Dylan here. Dylan understands that he's got to do something. He activates the Smeargle, which is a little weird for me. It means that he's obviously got a way to knock out his opponent's Mewtwo already. Otherwise, he just loses.
Hmm.
Um,
There's also a Sky Arrow Bridge in play, so does it free retreat? No
yeah,
reason not
I
to.
guess. Yeah, I'm sorry. I guess what I was trying to say was normally your opponent would activate the Celebi and get a Force Breath in there.
Yeah, I think in this situation it's better to just keep 2 energy on your Mewtwo. That's all you need to get a knockout. That'll force Sam to have more cards to knock out your Mewtwo, so he's just kind of playing with that in mind. And I don't think he has an N in his hand yet, so maybe he's thinking, alright, I might need a Portrait, and if Sam has an N in his hand, I can get that. So maybe promoting Smeargle was a good option just in case Sam has an N in his hand.
Exactly. Now he did Junk Arm for the Pokegear, and he missed on the N again. So now his last chance really is to be able to portrait into his opponent's N.
Hmm.
Or for his opponent just to not have the energy to knock out his own Mewtwo. It's a long shot, but I mean it's all he's got right now, and he plays to his outs.
Right. Now you can see both players are pretty well aware of how devastating N can be in this format. Dylan furiously junk arming to try to get one, or furiously Pokegearing to try to get one. And it looks like he missed on the portrait as well, so he will not be able to end this turn unless he drew one, which he may have.
Well, didn't he just play his own Professor Juniper, or did I see that wrong?
Maybe. I'm not too sure. He did junk arm for the Pokegear. I don't know what he was doing if.
Well, I know he Pokegeared and grabbed the Juniper the first time, but then he geared again, hoping to hit the end.
Hmm. So I guess we'll find out shortly.
Yeah, well, I guess, yeah, we will find out. But if he did play his own Professor Juniper, then that's big because now he no longer has access to an N. But I guess we'll see. He plays it. Okay, there it is. He's at his own N. Played a Tyrogue just to, I guess, get it on the field.
Yeah.
And yeah, now he plays an N, which is exactly what he needed to do. Gets his opponent down to 2 cards, which is the most important thing. And
If you noticed a little bit, I think Sam was kind of thinking, did you already play a supporter?
oh, was he? Yeah, because that's what I was thinking too. I guess Sam must have had a Juniper in his hand, obviously.
Yeah, portrait was used. I don't think Dylan used his supporter quite yet, so
Okay, well, which is obviously huge.
yeah.
If Sam had a Juniper in his hand, then obviously he's going to use his and not his own. And he hit his own end, which is exactly what he needed to do.
Mhm.
So he got a hand of 4. His opponent has a hand of 2, and now it's on his opponent to be able to get a couple of energy onto, or I guess 3 energy onto his Mewtwo.
Yeah, and now the big thing is going to be for Sam. Does he have a supporter in his hand? If not, does Dylan have a supporter that he can portrait? And it's all going to come down to this turn.
Yeah. Interestingly, I still give the advantage to Sam, though it's obviously nowhere near as big as last time. Even though he has no energy on his Mewtwo, he still has a lot of access to cards. I don't know if he has a supporter in his hand. If he doesn't, obviously, it's a big deal. He plays a revive, an old school base set revive on his own Mewtwo. Plays a dual ball, so unless the last card in his hand is a supporter, he's not gonna have access to a supporter in his own hand. But as long as his opponent has some sort of a supporter, he should be able to have a good chance at least to be able to get a knockout on his opponent. His opponent has a Professor Oak's new theory, and he shuffles his one card hand in, draws 6 cards, and now his only goal obviously is to be able to get enough energy onto the Mewtwo so he can X Ball for the win.
Yeah, there's a ton of stuff Sam can do here. He still has his own supporter for the turn, so if he draws one, he can play it. What do we need here? We need a double colorless and a plus power for the win. Otherwise, he would need like a switch.
A switch, grass, and double colorless.
So there are plenty of combinations here that can give Sam a win here.
Yeah. Yeah, for those of you who have not seen this happen, it happens all too common with a Celebi Mewtwo Tornadus deck. And like I said, I would almost consider Sam a favorite here. But unfortunately for Sam, he does not have access to the cards he needed, I don't believe. And this game's going to extend at least one more turn.
He was one card short. He had the grass, the double colorless, but no plus power, no switch.
Jeez.
So, one card short of getting a win here, and now Sam's got to be feeling a little nervous. If Dylan has a way to knock out his Mewtwo, this game will be over.
Yeah, I didn't see Dylan's hand very well with the portrait. Did you notice if his opponent had a Pokemon catcher and maybe a DCE and a plus power or something?
I was blinded by the Bouffalant in his hand, so I didn't see anything else.
All right. Well, clearly that Bouffalant has no business in this game. So, unfortunately, he'll have to wait for another game.
Yep.
Sam is passing this turn over. He knows that it's now on his opponent's to be able to take the last 2 prizes. If not, then Sam should be able to pull it off this turn, I believe. He didn't attach an energy this turn. That's being risk averse. That's saying, you know what, I'm going to force you to have the catcher and a plus power here.
Mm-hmm. So now, Dylan's going to take a look, see how many cards he has left, see what his odds are. He already played that double colorless energy, so we can see he's going for it once again. He needs a catcher and a plus power, or a catcher, switch, and a grass. That way he can knock out one of Sam's Mewtwo's and end this game right here, take his last 2 prizes.
Dylan knows exactly what's left in his deck, or at least he should. So I believe I counted something like 9 cards in his deck, plus or minus a card. So a Juniper here would not be too bad. Given the fact that he's on his last turn, and he plays an N here. That's interesting.
Yeah, now I was actually going to say, I don't like that Sam left his Smeargle in the active spot last turn. I don't see any reason for that. It's just a huge risk. Why not retreat to Celebi or even Tornadus? You want to save this Smeargle in case this situation happens. And now he's going to be down to 2 cards. And Dylan's going to be able to knock out this Smeargle. It's going to come down to whether or not Sam top decks the energy to win the game.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. He should have actually retreated for the Tornadus. That was going to be the best play for him. Force his opponent to have a lot of resources to be able to get a knockout that turn. And unfortunately...
Looks like Sam drew an Oak's New Theory off his top card. So he's got a very good shot of pulling off this win.
Plays a dual ball, gets 2 heads. He's going to be able to thin his deck a little bit before playing the New Theory. That knockout on the Smeargle was a pretty big deal. I really would have liked to see him retreat for the Tornadus, but hindsight's 20/20.
Yeah, maybe just a slight oversight there. Not really sure what happened there, but Sam's going to dual ball just to thin out his deck. He'll grab good old Regigigas, and that's actually not a bad move at all. He can be a very big wall in this situation. Probably the only Pokemon that could withstand a couple hits from Mewtwo. So he'll probably bench one of those, and then it'll all come down to this Oak's New Theory.
Yeah, we will see him bench the Regigigas and probably New Theory here.
Well,
obviously, bench the Celebi. What do you think about that?
I don't like that at all. I would rather put down the Regigigas. Not sure what he was thinking. Maybe he's just thinking, I'm going to draw this energy. There's no way I can whiff. So, no big deal.
Wow. So he actually showed the Gigas and as he was shuffling it in, like almost made like a ripping motion, saying, "What is this card doing in my deck?"
That's kind of
Uh,
the feeling I get. He does not know why he's playing that card in his deck.
uh, yeah, and the reason you're playing the card in your deck is obviously for the Zekrom Electric matchup. But in this matchup, it actually could have been a wall. Um,
Here we go.
don't see it.
Looks like he got one grass. Did not get the double colorless he needed to win the game. Or
Yeah,
even the
that
second
grass.
grass. Or even, I saw an energy retrieval in his deck. He could have had that too. And, well, what can he do here besides promote Tornadus and hope?
He definitely made two small mistakes this game on the last two turns of the game. The last turn, he could have activated a Tornadus, made his opponent have to struggle to get a prize. And this turn, unfortunately, he did not bench the Regigigas, which would have given him at least some hope of having his opponent, forcing his opponent into having a catcher. But this
I still
way,
think that's the case here unless Dylan has a double colorless or grass and a plus power. He won't be able to knock out this Tornadus. But yeah, Regigigas would have been better, obviously.
yeah, yeah. Unfortunately for Sam, the game is completely in Dylan's hands here. The fact that he had no energy, I would have also liked to see him attach the energy onto his Mewtwo. By the way, there's no reason not to anymore.
Well, I guess it forces Dylan to have another energy. Well, guess
No,
not. No, no,
because
no.
the Celebi would have.
You're right.
Yeah,
You're right. Yeah. I don't know why he didn't play an energy. It seems weird to me as well.
but yeah, we'll have to see what happens. Maybe Sam is just kind of a little bit shocked that he didn't hit the energies. That also happens. You feel like you're in such good shape. You know that. I mean, especially after you draw your first card, or was it the second? It doesn't matter. One of the first couple of cards was the grass energy, and he's like, "All right, here we go. Just got to get another one," and then he whiffs for the next few cards.
Yeah, I've seen
So
N do horrible things to people mentally, just completely shell shock people to the point where they make absurd plays that they never would have made before. I've seen a guy completely miss the fact that he had a win on his board just because he got N down to like two cards. So N, even though it disrupts your hand, it might disrupt people more mentally. And I don't think people are used to having that card in the format quite yet.
exactly. Now we did see a switch onto the Smeargle. Now
Yeah, that was
he
a big
used
play.
Portrait. Yeah, he used Portrait, and he played a Professor X New Theory from his opponent's hand. So there's that plus power, and he does have the knockout. And we do get to go to game three. Dylan did pull this game off. It seemed like Sam was in great shape, but Dylan had the resources available. Sam did not, and that's that. That's the mirror match for you. So we're going to be going to game three, and it should be just as hopefully it should be just as exciting as this game was.
Yeah, it was a very exciting game. Unfortunately for Sam, I think a few small errors at the end of the game really added up and ended up costing him his shot at this game. But hopefully he can rectify that in the third game, and we'll see who moves on to the top four after this third game.
See you guys then.